That's
like
terrible. That was terrible.
I nailed it.
What did you say? I can't hear you.
I thought I nailed it.
Oh, nailed it.
You missed yours.
I crushed mine.
You just missed it.
I don't know.
See,
I can't wait. I can't wait till culture works on this countdown at some point.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Ears are bleeding. All right. No, it's not Shaka Khan at that point.
No, you better not do that to mine.
That was terrible.
Kind of French on that one.
Oh, my ears hurt. All right, let's change that one. It's amazing how it goes so silent.
For no reason.
No reason at all. It's just pure silence. Is there any way, Culture, we could put those two together into one so I don't have to cut screen?
Easily. And also, can you do a better transition between the two?
I can't.
Anything else?
It would mean a lot to me if you worked harder on my channel.
Yeah, if you could change some of these things here, like most of these people I haven't ever seen. I've been on this thing for months
Script
now.
Doctor's there. And where is Script? I haven't seen him in a while. God, I love that guy. All right, everybody. Welcome to the... And it just stops like that. You really got to work harder on this.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome to the Saturday edition of The Dump. It is a special time, 2 p.m., because we have a fantastic... 2 p.m. Okay. Can you just let me get through my thing, man?
He's just trying to do the intro, man.
I'm just trying to do the intro. Thank you, Culture. Thank you.
You spent more time trying to tell me not to interrupt the
well, then don't interrupt.
Intro than it was for me to get to say 1 p.m.
Well, it's 2 p.m. here on the East Coast. And we have a very special guest, Andre from Midnight's Edge and all the other edges of midnight that there are. Welcome, Andre, to the show.
Well, thank you. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for having me. First of all, sorry for my voice. A little bit broken these days due to a cold, so nothing to worry about. It'll be fine. But for right now, we're just going to have to deal with it in any event. Thanks for having me. Been looking forward to this.
Well, me too. Me too. We've been setting this up for a little while now, and I am just every time a larger. Well, I wasn't planning on having you on, but a lot of people fell out. Even Walton, I was going to have him on before you. That's crazy. I like to thank Stephen Walton for hitting 2K before me because every time I do a Walton short, for me, I get a lot of views and subscribers. So thank you. But anyways, yeah, Mad, why don't you say hi to everybody? Tell them where to find your channel.
Hello.
Okay. Thank you very much. And we also have the beautiful, the handsome, the hair of the Fellowship Culture Casino.
Hey, everyone. Well, a little less hair right now, but that if you watched Monday's video, you know why.
Oh my God. What? Wait a minute. Why do you have less hair?
Well, because
well, to be clear, I think you mean you have a little bit shorter, not less. Let us not freak people out here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I have less.
That's true. It's very dense and thick, as it always has been. You're correct, Andre. No, it's just shorter. And I donated it, so I did what I needed to do. And
Dorothy, fantastic.
Yeah, Dorothy Casino, excellent. I love it. Keep them coming, guys. I started out as Lord Farquaad. I mean, just keep them coming.
Oh my God, that's a great one. What about like the kid who put his thumb in the pie? Which one's that one?
Simple Simon? No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh God, I can't think of
Simple
it.
Jack?
Plum pie? I don't remember. It's an old wives' tale.
What? No.
It's not. No, that's not what a wives' tale is.
Yeah.
It's an old fable.
There you go.
There you go.
Better?
By the way, it's not wives' tell. Like it's wives that.
Or is
tell
it
you.
wise?
It's wise tell.
I think it's wives.
It's not wives. It's not like women, gossip, like, their little stories they tell.
You're being
over.
sexist.
No, actually, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
Well,
I know. I know.
Like women gossiping with each other. That's exactly what it is.
Stories that wives told their children. You are so sexist, Mad. You don't like women. Okay, that's acknowledged. Everybody knows.
I actually think I'm not the sexist one here. I'm not the one saying that they're around sewing up their baby bottoms or whatever.
It was history that did that. I mean, it's
Thank
okay
you.
for us to say it because that's what happened. That was history.
Oh, you can't rely on Wookiee. I'm Googling this.
Wookiee is a smart human being and also a creature.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, a smart Wookiee.
a smart being.
Yes.
Just,
Could you all please, Tina said old wives' tale for sure. Yeah.
The old wise tales, that would be Aesop's fables. That would be the fables.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking, which is a great video game, not on the Sony Mega Drive though, or the Sega Mega Drive, excuse me.
Yeah,
Sega.
no, not on that one. This is true. Like, I do love me some Sega Mega Drive, but not every game is a classic. Let's be clear about that. Like Ghostbusters, for instance, is not my favorite on the Mega Drive.
What? How many bits was that drive? Was
16.
that a 30? That was a 16-bit drive.
16.
So that was their response to Nintendo.
That was their response to the 8-bit Nintendo Entertainment System, and it beat the shit out of it.
Yeah.
The Super Nintendo was the response to the Mega Drive or the Genesis in the US.
Okay, and the Super Nintendo, that's the one we all know of, right?
I mean, I know of the Nintendo.
Yeah. And Super Nintendo, of course, is superior in most every way. Apart from one, the Mega Drive had a faster processor. So some really great people in marketing coined the term blast processing, which of course is bullshit, but it had faster playback on screen. The sprites could move faster on the Mega Drive, which is really unforgivable given that the Super Nintendo came years later and had several years to outdo it in every single way. And they didn't, not in that one way.
Really?
They had Super 7 and stuff, but in terms of pure processing power, the Mega Drive, which was 3 years older, I think, was more powerful.
Yeah, I never played that one. I'm old enough to remember Atari and Commodore 64. I used to love Chopper Command on that. ColecoVision, but I don't remember the first Sega game.
Genesis.
No. Oh, what platform are you talking about then?
No, so Mega Drive and Genesis are the same.
Then I did play it. Okay, I did play it.
And the Genesis is only the US exclusive name for the system that was Mega Drive everywhere else on the planet. But in the US specifically, the name Mega Drive was copyrighted. So they had to find a different one, and then they decided on the Genesis in the US.
Gotcha.
And also Jane Theory, greetings.
Yes, I was just about to introduce the lovely Jane Theory.
Hello.
Thank you for being here and bringing up our IQ level, because we do have Mad and myself on the show. So thank you so much. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Jane,
one of Midnight's Edge's lovely toxic femmes.
She's amazing at it too. And Jane, does everybody know you have a vlog channel?
Huh?
You have like a vlogging channel, like a big
the Feast and Festival channel.
Yeah.
I don't think people know about it, but it is here on YouTube.
Can we share that out?
Yeah.
Yeah, post the link. I enjoy it. I also enjoy your TikTok channel.
Oh, thank you.
I'm all over this
Enjoy
stuff.
any of my content?
I don't even know where your channel is or the name of your channel.
Point. Good point.
Okay, yeah, but let's say hi to the chat, and then we'll get into our first story. We have the memes of destruction is here. Makani Draws, who is a great friend, and I'm sorry because somehow his schedule doesn't line up right now because he's a working man. Yeah. He is on our Wednesday show anytime he wants, and I'm going to try to find some Saturdays where I can fit Mock back in. We've done some reorgan around here. It's been actually working out great. I'm loving the different panels we're doing. Keely Chow saying hello to everybody. Hello. Parrot Head, late as usual, Scott. Well, not that late. Muhammad said, well, thank you for being here, Muhammad. Who knew the salt must flow is here. We also have Mecha J is here. The beautiful Toxic Man Flu is here. Tina Bojan, as we saw before. Yeah, Tina's great. Joakim Stark, they're all three of the last people were channel members. Feel free to support the channel. You don't get anything extra as a member.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I've
been working on that. I'm working on getting them all their own sporks.
You know what else?
Oh.
What?
We want a stuffy. A spork stuffy.
Like as my avatar, like a little spork stuffy or an actual spork?
Either one, actually.
I think they both would work.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to work on that. I got to talk to some people. Culture?
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Thank you. I can't do anything by myself. Wookiee Supremacy is here. I know I saw Tina. Tina is here. She said it's little Jack Horner who sat in a corner eating his Christmas pie. He's the one that stuck his thumb in the plum pie.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Heading to Ghostbusters Afterlife. We are going to touch on that. Again, not everybody has seen it, so we're going to go spoiler free, but just reaction to it. I like to hear everybody's reaction that has seen it. And our first super chat of the night is Toxic Manflu for $5. He says, know what I love about Scotch streams? They always get off to a fast start. Room. I think he's making fun of me there.
Oh, I didn't think so. I thought we started off like at a very good pace.
I'm impressed at how quickly you started out. I mean, that midnight sets were typically like 10, 15 minutes behind. Like, yeah, kudos.
Well, the truth of that, Andre, is that if I don't start pretty close on time, they just leave.
Yeah.
I don't have that size of a channel yet that they'll wait.
Yeah, and then you also have, like, you know, if you start late and Justin Proper comes around, he will dislike just cause.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he does do that. He does do that. But he also doesn't wash his hands, so.
Well, that's
yeah. We also, real quick, have Soul Assassin. We have E. Clay Thomason, who is a channel member. We have Rodge H, who's a channel member. And we have a couple other people in the house. So let's get started. If anybody, Culture, you see anything you want to highlight, please go ahead.
Okay.
Glinser, like Glinser is here. Membership, put your name in green letters. That's something, right?
No,
Yeah,
mine's in blue.
Your name is not in blue.
It is in blue.
Your Spork is in
name
blue.
check. No, look, see, my name is in blue.
How am I supposed to see it when it's on your screen?
It's in the chat.
He's talking about because he's a wrench, he's blue. That's what it is.
Oh Lord. That's not about a member. Okay. So why don't we bring up the first article there, Culture? It's the Hollywood reaction to the Kyle Rittenhouse trial from stream Bounding Into Comics.
I'm sure it was measured and well thought out.
You know,
They've been freaking, as you can tell, they haven't actually watched the trial.
and you know what? I love what we're going to show also after this article, something Andre sent me, people that, you know, it's like a letter to being red pilled. And I thought that was an interesting take on it. So why don't we bring this up? Culture, you mind reading this first one and then I'll take it from there? Because you're so special to me.
Yeah, I'm not logged in as the producer right now, but I'll do that in a second.
Oh, well.
I'll take care.
You want to take your time and do that? And I could read the red pill thing first?
No, I got this.
Okay. All right.
Hollywood celebrities take to social media to share their thoughts on Kyle Rittenhouse trial verdict. This is written by Josh yesterday. After almost 3 weeks, after almost 3 weeks since the murder trial of Kyle Rittenhouse started, the jury found the 18-year-old not guilty of all charges he was facing, namely first-degree reckless homicide, 2 charges for first-degree recklessly endangering safety, and first-degree intentional homicide and attempted first-degree intentional homicide. Holy cow, that was a lot, right? Yeah. He was 17 at the time, too.
Yeah.
Possession of a dangerous weapon by a person under 18 was the first charge to be dismissed by Judge Bruce.
Never should have been filed in the first place.
Exactly. Now that Rittenhouse has been finally acquitted, Hollywood celebrities have taken to social media to share their thoughts on the jury's long-awaited decision. And there are some fairly disappointing takes. Woke actor and comedian Patton Oswalt couldn't help but make a fairly racist remark, writing, "Want to be a Supreme Court justice? Want to murder 2 people and not go to jail? Better 1, cut some onions, 2, be white."
You know, that's just talking about how the poor kid broke down on the stand, and also broke down when he heard the verdict. Like, you know, not because his whole life was in the balance. Yeah, it wasn't that. It was because he's a cold-blooded assassin who likes to bandage people up, you know, clean graffiti and protect people's property, but whatever.
And put out fires. Let's not forget about that.
Let us not forget that, because you know what? Hollywood did.
Yeah, well, hey,
Let's
you know
also
what?
forget that people get convicted every day of every racial background.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Alyssa Milano made a rather uncharacteristically mellow comment, asserting effing not guilty, to show her frustration with the jury's decision to acquit Kyle Rittenhouse.
Can I ask if anybody has seen her reaction video? It is hilarious, because all it is, oh my God, maybe we should play it. Because every time they were like, you know, on the first count of, you know, homicide, he is found not guilty, and you hear, and then like the next one, it gets more, like her acting gets more aggressive. She's like, oh, it's fantastic. She is so horrible of a human being.
It sounds like the best acting she's done in years.
She's like, Oh, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
best
so
she's
what
done
was that?
since Double Dragon.
Sounds like the best acting she's done in years.
She's like,
Is somebody playing this in the background, or is that me?
That's what she's
What
done
was that?
since
Someone's playing it, I think.
Yeah.
and someone just turned it off. Culture.
Thank you, Culture. Don't be mean to him. He's my producer. He's doing great.
it's okay. I was just trying. I tried to change tabs so I could be the producer.
It messed up my Double Dragon joke.
I'm sorry.
Right.
What is Chuck talking about here, Jane?
There's a news article or something where they were referring to the people who were shot as black.
Black adjacent, maybe? Because none of those guys were black.
It follows that weird article that was out not too long ago where they're basically accusing people who they don't agree with who are quote unquote minorities of being white privileged of somehow. Like it's this weird thing where politics is becoming racialized, and depending on what side you're on,
right,
determines what race you are.
It's been that way for a while. I think that's one of the tenets of CRT is that your race isn't since it's socially constructed. It's not dependent on what you actually look like. It depends on where you fall on the political spectrum.
Yeah. Let's not forget that even Biden told black people that if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's not also forget, Biden. Biden forgot to check if there was any evidence against this kid when this first happened. And he was still former Vice President Joe Biden. He made a comment that this, pretty much the kid was guilty and he should get what he deserves. And the president's Twitter is still sticking to that. They're still sticking to that justice was not served. Our vice president came out yesterday and said that there's a mistake in the justice system. The one she, helped build, she believes, putting black kids in jail for small marijuana charges in California and keeping them there. That same vice president.
That was to fight fires.
Oh, that's true. That's true. A lot of fires in California.
Yeah, and I think that you're referring to Grace Randolph, Soul Assassin. I think that's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did a whole video on her. She lost her whole entire mind.
She did.
Yeah. I think it comes up in a little bit. Or you did a video more on her Women's March one, right?
Yeah, the one where she just somehow segued into that. I'm just like, what does any of this have to do with what this case is about?
Absolutely no clue. Yeah. Larry Elder, who is a black gentleman, was called the blackface of white supremacy. He also, while on the campaign trail in California, was attacked by a white woman in a gorilla mask throwing eggs at him. And that was rarely reported. Like,
well,
you know what else is rarely reported?
Huh?
One of these guys who got shot was out there saying the N-word.
Oh, yeah, the whole time. It was the first guy.
Yeah. The prosecutor did bring it up. He was like, what did he do? Okay, he said the N-word a few times. He took over a porta potty. Sure, he set fires to things. But come on, we've all had a bad Friday night.
Yeah, and they try to position it like he was there supporting this movement. Like, no, that's
I think it's actually funny that according to the prosecutor, a white person saying the N-word, come on, it's no big deal.
Right.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Usually, if someone on the wrong side of the political scale said that, I think that people would welcome seeing that person shot.
Yes.
Yes.
Talking about it for sure.
Absolutely. Macklyn Draws for $10 says, I saw Colin Kaepernick's disgusting tweet saying that we need to abolish the system and that there's no conformity to white supremacy. I'll say this the kindest way possible. Kaepernick can eat, and I believe he's trying to say shit there.
Yeah.
I believe that's where he's going.
The spelling checks out. There's enough letters. Yeah.
Oh, and his next $5 one, we were just talking about that a second ago, Macklyn Draws. For $5, also, Ava DuVernay is a dishonest, irreprehensible human being based on her tweets. You people know I can barely read, and these big words are killing me, but thank you for the $5, my brother. You mean a lot to me. But she is. Andre, let me ask you this. We have been seeing, I think, like you said, backstage, the red pilling of some people, like the hyperbolic anger that politics and Hollywood, they are trying to divide us. Is that your take outside of America? Do you see that? Is that
Absolutely.
something common? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking into America from outside is like looking into a madhouse. For those that pay a little bit attention, America has gone completely off its rockers.
Wow.
And the gaslighting from the media is simply insane. There's a narrative, and that narrative must be upheld at all costs, even when it's proven wrong, or perhaps especially when it's proven wrong. That's when you really need to stick by it. And I think that's kind of like what we're seeing with all these celebrities now speaking out on a matter in which it was proven by a court of law. Like, you can debate if Rittenhouse should have been there or not. You can have that discussion. But given that he was, and given that there was nothing illegal about that, then everything that he was charged with, as it was worded, he was innocent of all of that. It was clear as day. But instead of looking into actual story, people just keep up this narrative that, oh, he's a white supremacist and he was there killing black people and he's a representative of white supremacy. Like, none of this has any root in actual reality as far as I can see.
Right.
But it's the narrative. And when that narrative is falling apart, it's much more important for everyone who is who kind of like is in the club, in the good company, to virtue signal and show, oh, look, we're down with the cause still. We're doing everything we can to convince the pleb that something ain't right here.
What blows my mind, and real quick, I'll ask anybody on the panel, is, for the average American, it used to be that you could watch the news, they probably showed it at noon and 5 o'clock, somewhere around there, a couple hours worth of news. Now it's this 24-hour cycle where they have to create their own news. But when the news is telling you falsehoods, when the news is blatantly not giving you the correct information, I think this trial helped a lot of Americans that actually started watching the actual footage, that this isn't the way to go. Like, these people are lying to us, because if you only get your information from the news, then you are going to think he's a white supremacist who hunted people down that day, brought a gun across state lines, drove over an hour to get, all these falsehoods that we know are not true. Welcome, Tina. Oh my God. Wow. Nina Infinity. I love you. Why did I do that? Nina Infinity to the channel. How are you?
I'm Tina Infinity. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hi.
Hey, Nina. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent.
I feel weird being on full screen.
Oh, get used to it, because we will be, when you're talking, mostly you will be, we're kind of trying a new thing, which Culture told us to try, and I like it.
Okay.
It kind of controls the panel a little bit more when you have more people, but
you're trying to be like all fancy schmancy.
I'm trying to get people to be sucked in and subscribe to me. Now, Nina, what is your feelings? We're going to be going through what the Hollywood has responded to Kyle Rittenhouse. What have you seen, and what are your feelings on their response to it?
I think I'm very similar to this panel. I think that, I don't like saying that people should shut up with their political opinions, like, especially like if you're an actor or like whatever. Like, I don't like saying stuff like, stick to acting or stick to dribbling and blah, 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 because everybody has an opinion and they can share it. But when you're a public figure, like in terms of like, if you're an actor, it's one thing, but if you're a politician, it's a whole other story. And that's why I think, like, for example, the president of the United States coming out and saying that he's a white supremacist before the trial is much more damaging than, what's her face? The one you guys were just talking about, Grace Randolph, coming out and saying some bullshit about, how this is an equivalency to her being at the Women's March, which honestly, that tweet made absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. I was like, what is she talking about? And then she went into this whole thing about how when she was at the Women's March, like some man talked to her and made fun of her. Like a police officer made fun of her and made her feel awkward. And I was like, what does any of what you just said have to do with the trial. And it's just most of the stuff that's coming out from the left, and especially the actors, are that they have no idea what they're talking about. They didn't watch the trial. Right. They formulated an opinion before the trial even started. And basically, like, the idea of your justice system has always been innocent until proven guilty. They've gone in with the opposite. He was guilty until proven innocent, and to them, he will never be proven innocent. And
absolutely,
that's just the way it is. There's no change.
And they have no understanding of the law either. Like, they keep saying he shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been there. None of them should have been there.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, they literally were not supposed to be on the street.
Right.
Yeah,
so it has nothing to do with self-defense.
That was really funny too, because during the trial, while I was watching it, Jane, like, that's exactly it. Because they were like, well, there was a curfew and he was out like after curfew. He shouldn't have been there. And I'm like, what about everybody else? Like, why are they not in trial? Because they're dead? Like, I don't really understand all of that.
But it's not like any of them were stranger to the courtroom, but I'm not even going to get into that because at least they kept a lot of that stuff out of the jurors' eyes, which was probably good because it prevented some prejudicial behavior that could have happened. But I have been saying all along, nobody should have been there. Nobody should have been there. The cops should never have stood down. Law and order should have been you know, and in none of these situations none of this would have ever happened. This was 100% preventable, but because of poor leadership, this is what happened. And that's
to your point, Culture. People from Kenosha, including like people like the Quartering and like, you know, other people have been saying that night was basically this entire thing could have been avoided had the governor and, you know, the mayor had done something and put, like, you know, the National Guard or whatever over there so that they can stop all this looting and all this like crazy shit that's going down. And maybe if they had done that, then Kyle wouldn't have had to been there at all.
But they would have agreed. Go ahead, please.
You have to also, individual responsibility is important. Those people should not have been there.
Right.
What do you mean those people?
All of them were out that night.
All those white people.
It was a lot of white people burning stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just if you go out, but okay. The point, though, is that even despite the fact that they shouldn't have been there, that doesn't remove your right to defend yourself.
Correct.
Because there may be circumstances where you are going to be out. Maybe you have some particular reason why you feel strongly about being out there on the street. Yeah. But that doesn't take away your right to defend yourself if people are attacking you or chasing you or putting you in reasonable fear of imminent serious bodily injury or death. That's the only standard.
Even if you don't have the weapon legally, you still have the right to self-defense. That will be a charge in of itself. That's why they're two different charges.
Exactly.
You don't lose the right to self-defense just because you don't have the weapon legally. But in this case, he did. And as far as like the celebrities and their lack of knowledge or even attempt to get, it's their compensatory like projection of virtue is, you know, grandeur of its lack. That the more they do this, the more you see that they sincerely do not understand what it is that they are talking about and don't really believe in what they're saying. Because if they truly felt this way, they would have spent a little bit of time looking into what happened in the case, just a little.
And we know that you're a former police officer. So, you know, as you see it, but based on the facts as they were presented, would you have seen it any other way?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I think that the other thing is that a lot of people conflate the issue of like, you know, should anyone have been there at all with the idea that, like, I don't necessarily agree that no one should have been in there in the sense that like I'm for free speech and I'm for, you know, voicing your opinion depending on like whatever issue. Like I'm for protest. Like I think freedom of protest is something that you should be able to do no matter what. Even if there is a curfew, there's just causes that you have to like go out there into the streets and do what you have to do. I'm a very big proponent of protesting mandates, for example, but there's a big difference between protesting your free speech and your right to basically like, you know, stand against something
Right.
versus I'm going to go burn down the streets. I'm going to go burn down every
Get a
business
TV.
I see. I'm going to get a TV. I'm going to go, burn down all these local businesses and blah, blah, blah. There's a major difference. And I think that's one of the things that is getting really conflated here is the idea of a protest versus a riot or a looting. And that has a lot to do with the mainstream media and their portrayal of that, the chaos, the anarchy aspect of it being normalized and being like, no, this is just protest. And even Biden after the Kyle Rittenhouse, verdict came out, he came out and said I encourage everyone to go and peacefully protest. But
we've heard that before, haven't
exactly,
we?
Andre.
And here is media's extreme culpability in this, because this is something that I read earlier today, I think it was, where basically at the time, this was all described as, fiery and mostly peaceful protests, including the ones in Kenosha. As it turned out, it wasn't peaceful. It was very fiery. And what was burned down were, to a very large extent, small businesses, frequently by non-white owners, with someone spotty insurance, meaning that loads of people had their lives ruined.
Right.
So it was basically Black Lives Matter ruining the businesses and livelihoods of multiple people in the Black community.
Right.
And this is something that it was a journalist that came out and said that I had this story and I was told to, no, wait with this until after the election. Then
that was New York
Times. Bring up the reality here. Yeah. That sounds about right, that it would be the New York Times. I mean, that's some of the frustrating things with the news in my country, for instance. Right. It's not nearly as outright insidious as the news here, but very frequently, much of the U.S. coverage comes from the New York Times with very little fact-checking. So that is kind of like the story that gets sent around the world. So unless you pay attention, and it's impossible to miss if you don't pay attention to it.
Right.
But that's precisely that's precisely why I take issue with the protesting. I'm not a proponent at all of it. Not that people shouldn't have the right, but that specifically for some of the civil rights issues that they're talking about, it has literally never been effective. Because what happens every single time is that you have people coming in and start destroying stuff. And then the rioting gets conflated with whatever they're protesting to undermine it. And it's not a coincidence that it happens at every single protest for decades.
Well, let's take this, Jane. That night Kyle was there. He was giving people medical aid for a day and a half. He was cleaning paint, spray paint. He was protecting businesses. He had a right to be there as much as looters and rioters had a right to be there. How many of those people that were I was about to say rioting, but protesting were from Kenosha? Or how many of them came from outside of that area because of it was a perfect storm that summer. Lockdowns, kids being in, having nothing to do, just watching YouTube and Twitter and just being really, it was
radicalized.
Yes, thank you, Andre. I couldn't think of the word. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you couldn't have gotten it worse if you had planned it.
Absolutely.
Put it that way.
But the protests they've always been that way. And again, this is another issue. Anytime you've had the history of these civil rights protests is that they go from place to place. They're always pre-organized, or at least the better ones have been.
Yes.
And you have people bussing people in from place to place. That's what they do. That goes with it. But then the problem with that is you do get the pushback from the community saying, why should we listen to these people? They're not from here. It would make a whole lot more sense and probably go over more peacefully if it was the people in the community who were actually the ones out there, because they know their neighborhood and they're not going to burn down their only store.
Right. Someone they've known their whole life.
Exactly. So you have these people coming from outside, they don't care. And then you have these other people who see an opportunity to just start fires for no reason. And here we are.
Well, they had a reason. They wanted to blow up a gas station.
Well, yeah.
Riots are the voice of the oppressed, don't you know?
Yeah, let them have cake.
Can I ask a real quick question here, because especially from the Americans on the panel, because this is happening in your country. My issue is that forget the verdict, okay? Like the verdict aside, I think that one of the things that this trial really showed and highlighted was how slimy the prosecution is, and how like how incredibly unjust the system can be. Like we basically, I feel like in a way we got lucky, and in a way like we got lucky that he got an innocent verdict. But like in general, I think it really highlighted the downfall of your justice system.
The depths they would go to, you're saying?
And exactly, because this could have easily gone the other way. And now, like, you know, having, you know, coming off this high of, okay, he's innocent, he's fine now, whatever. What do you guys think, like, moving forward, like, is there going to be anything done about this? Is there going to, like, obviously, like, though I don't think those guys are going to get disbarred or anything like that. But we had media stalking the jury. We had
MSN,
prosecution, MSNBC. We had the prosecution straight up lying and withholding evidence. We had, you know, literally, like, Binger was. He literally pointed a gun at the jury with his trigger finger on it. Like,
that was awesome.
There's just certain things that went on in this trial that I feel like need to be addressed now in terms of like what exactly went down.
But it's bigger than that, Nina. This was a political trial from the very beginning. It was acknowledged that way from the very beginning. This was a trial in the media. It was the media versus the truth, which should tell you all you need to know about the media. And it's not just here in the United States where the media is fully corrupt at this point. The mainstream medium, I should say. It's everywhere across the globe, right? So, you know, and I agree. Kyle has a lot of road to run. And, you know, the what do you call him? The Covington kid actually offered his assistance. Yesterday.
He made, and don't forget, he got $250 million.
Yeah, he got paid.
Did he get that amount? I sincerely hope so. And I hope that Rittenhouse is going to get 10 times that amount.
You know it.
From the president.
Yeah, I mean,
and I use that like the so-called. Yeah.
To go back to Nina's point, though, I don't think it highlights the downfall of the criminal justice system. I think it highlights the criminal justice system, because this happens every day in cities across the country. It just so happened that this case was highlighted. But if you think prosecutors aren't doing this everywhere, I don't know what system.
No, I think they are, Jane, and that's what I'm saying, because I think that this brought that to light for everyone to kind of see. Well, I'm familiar with that kind of stuff because I love courtroom dramas, and I know how slimy prosecutors are.
Well, I've been on the other side. I've been on the other side of it.
Prison.
No, as a cop.
Wow.
I've testified in multiple, especially DWIs. I so many that is crazy, but remind me to tell you about the first time I did it too. It was a good story. I'll tell you later. But look, most of these things.
Were tampons involved? I don't want to hear.
No, God. Anyway,
does it have anything to do with your Brokeback Mountain story?
Nope.
Can I just say this? No, I got to say this real quick, and then you can do it. We were backstage, Andre, myself, and Culture, and here comes Matt, and he's like, "Hey, Andre, we've met once before," and Andre's like, very polite, hey, buddy, and he goes, "I'm the guy who watched Brokeback Mountain with a bunch of army dudes," and he's like, "Oh, now I know who you are." Like,
that's not exactly how it went. That's not exactly how it went down, but like, yeah,
close enough.
How he knew me.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Thank you.
Wow.
So glad you could be here, Andre.
Go on with your point.
It's my pleasure.
my point was that most of these never even make it to trial. A lot of them, they will accept whatever. Like for DWI, for the most part, they a lot of times you're going to see the stacking. That's what you saw here, right? You had those 6 different charges. That's called stacking. And what you want to do, like if we get a DWI, you want to get, if he has an open container, if he has any drug paraphernalia, if he has any drugs on him whatsoever.
If he's got kids in the car.
Yeah, anything you can add on.
Are they drinking?
Violations? Yeah, are the kids, providing him the alcohol, whatever. Yeah. And you stack them. And so when the prosecutor will be in touch with the defense attorney or whatever, they're going to make a deal. Like, look, we'll drop, charge 3 and 4 if you plead guilty to 1 and 2. Right. Mm-hmm. And if they can't do that, then they'll drop it down a little bit. But all of that happens before. Like, so everything you see here is, I think part of it is that the prosecutor is not used to people going, no, we'll go to court because it's almost automatic to the point to where like they are going to make a bargain, make a plea bargain.
Well, don't forget this was
that's part of it too. You oftentimes don't find out about certain types of evidence until right before trial, including
that was going to be my question to you, Jane. Can I ask you this question? They gave the what am I trying to say? They brought on charges, I guess, 2 days after the shooting with pretty much no evidence. The DA did that. And then once I think this went along a little bit, he was like, hey, assistant DA, take over. Cause I don't want to get screwed, because they knew they had a losing case. Why? For the love of God, did it make it to trial? That's my question.
Some of them, I don't think they always do think they have a losing case. Sometimes they don't look in the file until right before they've decided that.
I'm talking about this one though, Jane. Even in this one, I think they get so focused on what they believe is the truth. It is almost impossible to convince them otherwise, even when it's obvious to anybody else. Yeah.
It's like
that's what I was talking about.
And that is it.
Yeah. They're guilty until proven innocent. In their minds, there is no changing that. And that's basically it.
Yeah, please, Andre.
I think that it's not so much the prosecutor that it's guilty in their minds. I think that the prosecutor probably has been told from higher up that this kid, he is guilty in the eyes of the media.
Yes.
He is guilty in the eyes of the protesters. We may know that there's more to this story because we have this evidence, but it doesn't matter. This is a political case. And if we do not prosecute here to the fullest of our ability, then whoever is up for re-election are not going to win that re-election. We're going to have like new rounds of protests and riots, and they probably risk their own lives and families, because that's what happens when you
but they didn't prosecute the police officer who shot the guy in the back who started this whole thing.
Yeah, but he didn't get the same kind of attention, because that's often the case though. When you have like something that starts a whole event, then very often you have like some relatively incidental thing that has nothing to do with how the whole thing started, but for one reason or another, this is the thing that captures the imagination and attention of the public and the press, actually more so the press, and therefore the public, because that is what the press presents them with. And I bet that half of the people rioting weren't even aware of why they were rioting in the first place.
No way.
But they are aware of Rittenhouse. I think that's my thought. I could be wrong. It's just like observations from outside.
I think you're right. That's why a lot of times you'll hear them linking it to George Floyd, right?
Yeah.
Even though there was one little,
bit more recent. They remember that. They forget the details of the other things.
That's right.
That one, the media caught on to that one to such an extent that everyone knows that one. But the details about the Kenosha, I don't think that half the people there even could tell you that story from any other.
Yeah, I mean they don't recognize that this. I believe his name was Mr. Blake, and he's still with us. He's
he's not even dead. Injured.
And ESPN said some dumb shit last night too. So now they're going to line up for the defamation thing as well. And Toxic Mammoth is right, but CNN elements of their coverage changed, but not all of their personalities changed. CNN has opened themselves up, has continued to since the verdict came in, and in fact anybody who has reacted in these ways and saying some of these things has opened themselves up to some very, very bad things. But real quickly, I want to touch on two member chats that came in.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
First of all, Tina Bojan, who's been a member for a year, actually 16 months as a singer, says Sporking News Podcast has the Tina Bojan seal of quality content. Well, thank you.
Aw, thanks, Tina. I love my members because I give you guys nothing and you are still members. God, you're the best.
From one Tina to another Tina Bojan. I love you.
We did try Tina Infinity once. I don't know if
I know.
I have said Tina to you multiple times, and I'm so sorry, but there's so many Tinas, but Tina, Bojan, you really have been a supporter since day one. And thank you to people like Midnight's Edge for giving me a chance and Nerdrotic bringing you guys here. And you stayed, which is crazy to me. But I appreciate that because we also have another one that from Storyman Jack. And what does he say?
Oh, I was going to let you read it.
Oh, I'll read it then. Remember, for 13 months, he's at the little finger level. So is Tina. That is our highest level. You get a thanks, pal, for that. Great guest, Scotty. The membership is actually worth it this month. LOL. It is. We might have actually a special guest Wednesday. We'll be talking about that later.
I plan on being here.
Are you going to change the little finger to Binger now for your memberships?
Oh, the Binga finger. The Binga finger. I like that. I like
you
that.
have to do it with the accent. The
little Binger.
Little Binger.
Little Binger.
Every level will be Binger. We'll have like my smallest one will be Little Binga, and then the next one up will be, Binga Winga.
Middle Binger.
The middle Binger.
The middle Binger. But I will have to ask a production question. Are we going to continue on with silly celebrities or move on?
I kind of like the silly celebrities. Why don't you just read what they
Did you
wrote?
guys see what was her name? Shirley from Community. What's her name?
Oh no, not Shirley.
Oh my God, Yvonne.
Nicole.
Not Shirley.
Yeah.
Yvette Nicole Brown. Oh my God, did you see her tweet?
Yvette
That was.
I don't want to.
Oh my God.
Can you find it?
So bad.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Community.
I do want to share this one that the beautiful Lorena Creole was sharing. Let's make sure I'm not going to.
Her name is not Creole.
Did I just say Creole?
Wow.
Creole. I'm from New England, so we kind of say stuff a little different.
Ava DuVernay.
Yes. So Ava DuVernay says John Huber and Karen Bloom, parents of murdered Kyle Rittenhouse victim Anthony Huber. The verdict sends the unacceptable message that armed civilians can show up in any town, which his dad lives in, incite violence, and then use the danger they have created to justify shooting people in the streets.
Actually, she's really silly because absent laws to the contrary, I can walk around with my firearm and my tactical anywhere I want to.
That's what it seems like.
And remind me, was
gun rights.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Andre.
Was Huber the wife beater or the?
He was the wife
beater.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Who was breaking curfew?
Rosenbaum is the pedo.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. You can't be on camera, but you can say hello. Say hello.
Okay.
Say hi. You got to be loud.
Hello.
Okay. Thank you.
So cute.
She's in my nudist. Oh my God.
Wow.
My newest video for a split second. So if you haven't watched my Walton Hates Children video, please check out that short.
Oh my God.
Otherwise, Scott's nudist video coming soon.
That's members only.
So this is her tweet.
Okay.
It says the good news is that white men and boys can still kill whoever they want and do no jail time. Isn't that fun? And he killed white people. I bet Kyle Rittenhouse is going to go right out and take some more white power pics with the Proud Boys and plan his next massacre.
Wow. How do they get away with saying this?
Leap to these conclusions.
Yes. Well, that and again, I mean, you say these kinds of things, but now you've opened a door, right? You've opened a door here that you're going to have to go and prove what you're saying. Right. I mean, this is the problem. You've seen people with these hyperbolic overreactions, and I know Jane was about to call it out, but it's insane. It's
they're gonna be losses left and right.
Who the hell is Shannon Watts?
I don't care, but there's a check mark, dude. They're important. They got a check mark.
But they keep talking about the guns. It's the guns that's the problem here. That's what they're so afraid.
Jane, personally, I don't know if anybody disagrees with this. Not just Kyle Rittenhouse, the Second Amendment, the right to protect yourself was on trial. That was what was on trial because the majority of the stuff was he shouldn't have had a gun and he didn't have a right to defend himself because all they used was a skateboard upside his head.
But here's the thing. You also had the Andrew Coffey case. which was a self-defense case, right?
Yep.
But he didn't have an AR-15.
No.
It's like, it's something about this weapon.
It's because they all think it means assault rifle.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
that
like
and it
it
looks
that
cool.
I like it that there's like a black person also went free that same day
for the same reason.
for the same reason, and then everyone's like losing their minds, like all the celebrities and all the like the lefties
Because they don't
like,
know.
black people don't ever go free. If Kyle Rittenhouse was black, he would not be free right now. And it's like, bruh, like, are you even paying attention to what is going on? Like, I don't even understand.
Tina Infinity, I love you.
I love
Nina.
you too.
Nina just went bra on the.
She went bra on his ass. I love it. Brah. That was awesome.
I can't deal with people like this. And the other thing is like people like Yvette here was talking about like the next massacre. I've seen that several times. Kyle will kill again. Kyle is gonna go and start massacring people. And I'm like, dude, he wasn't a mass shooter. He didn't go to a school and start shooting people. It's not the same thing. What
But
are
this
you
is from the
thinking?
toolbox, Nina. This is, you're seeing this. This is the globalist the toolkit, right? That Greta, climate hustler Thunberg had accidentally exposed just a few months ago. In fact, I made a tweet to this point earlier this morning. This is part of that. When they start saying the exact same thing, that's their marching orders. These people, if you have a check mark, if you have influence or whatever, they come to you and they say, okay, you can help us. We'll pay you some money. We'll give you, deals. You can sign with this, agent, whatever, and to represent you, but all we needed to do is follow up on these things. And so you see famous people regurgitating the same exact verbatim quote pasted 1,000 times everywhere. It is the same globalist toolkit, and that's how you're being lied to, manipulated, and everything else, which is frustrating to me.
Don't forget, culture. The reason our founding fathers didn't want a state-run media, a state-run church, because a lot of people think, church, separation of church and state is about God being involved in your governance. It wasn't that. It was separation of a state church, like the Church of England, and then newspapers run by the communist Russia. We did not want this. Our founding fathers were very smart people, and they decided that in a country that the people had been armed, you will have less likely the tyranny that you have seen throughout history.
That's
throughout
right.
history.
Keeps people, being honest.
Right.
Yep.
Well, here's this is really great because Nina found the thing I wanted to point out. This is from The Independent, guys. This is how wrong they were, and this is how much trouble they're going to be in.
Shout out to Lyndon Hall, by the way.
Yeah,
Lyndon's been killing it.
Lyndon. Well, what was cool is I saw this thing in real time. Lyndon had the presence of mind to screenshot it and then screenshot the change. You want to show that off, Nina?
It's right here. So you had the original one that said, full story teenager with, I'm saying, I guess it's with gun or something, shot 3 black men. And then this one, the updated version is shot 3 men. So originally it was black men, and then they found out, oh wait, never mind, those guys were white. Let's update that, and then because originally, obviously they want more discontent. Obviously they want more people out in the streets rioting because they know that's all people need to hear.
But the headline changed as well.
I was just about to say that the Black Lives Matter switched to the anti-racist, because you know why? Black Lives Matter has a negative connotation. Yeah,
Black Lives Matter. That's right.
Black Lives Matter has a bad connotation.
Why?
The other thing,
their brand.
The other thing too, though, is that it never should have involved black people at all. I don't know why everybody's putting black people in the middle of this case.
Because of George Floyd, Jane. Because of what we were talking about earlier. Everybody thinks this is a George Floyd thing, and therefore it's a Black Lives Matter thing, and therefore it's about black people being killed. It's like this.
But it's just it's disturbing and it's disappointing that
you had to see what I shared.
Black people in particular are putting themselves, and all of us by extension, in the middle of a case it's white on white crime.
It is white on white crime.
My favorite type of crime.
Oh my
It's
god,
ridiculous.
It is. It's stupid.
And then you see stuff like this too. If you want to share Mads' screen first, okay, well here it is. And then you see stuff like this. This is the tolerant left talking about how the United States legal system is white supremacy and the most loyal patron. And then, you scroll down a bit, no fucking justice, burn it all down.
Right.
I mean, like, you're literally inciting violence, man. Like, I don't understand.
Rebuild. You're saying burn it all down. You know that the only thing that's going to get burned down are the poor, predominantly Black community.
Always.
So, what do you say?
Always.
Yeah, what are you saying? Always inciting violence. It's infuriating.
Let me ask, Justin Normie for $5 says, I feel for you, I feel for Kyle. He has a long road to recovery. The PTSD he has endured, you can see it. Yeah. I hope he has support to help him through this. Now, the PTSD that I believe I saw when he was on the stand and reliving what happened, knowing that he killed 2 people, he took 2 lives. I don't care how much of scumbags they were. That affects you. People like LeBron James said, they were fake tears.
Alligator.
Alligator tears.
Crocodile tears.
Oh, yeah, crocodile. Sorry.
You moron. Patton Oswalt said, cut up some onions. Like this kid.
I'm sorry, but Patton Oswalt,
a moron.
Okay, nobody gives a fuck what that guy says. He's a complete and utter moron douchebag. Like, that should just, no. Nobody.
Draws wants to know if Nina or Jane, did you see Colin Kaepernick's tweet?
I did not.
I haven't seen it. I don't follow.
You should. Speaking of Colin Kaepernick, you should share mine.
Did you? Do you have it up?
I mean, can you make it any smaller?
Yeah. Well, I shared it with.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me cover one eye. AEC. No, I can't figure that one out.
Did you guys see Mayor Bill de Blasio?
Oh, yes. I responded to that one. I know he doesn't care, but I actually, you tweeted it.
Oh, I figured it out.
Wow, the X got a lot bigger.
That's all that happened.
Okay, just read what you're trying to say.
I'm not trying to say anything. Oh, here we go.
There you go.
I'm trying to see if I can find the actual tweet.
I don't see it.
He is doing terrible right now.
Nobody can see that.
Make the window bigger.
Why are you embarrassing me in front of our guests?
Wow.
I saw Brokeback with a bunch of dudes, Andre. Do you want to hang out?
I'm going to try.
That's not even what he said.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Did you send the link in the chat send me the Twitter link? I'll get it.
Why don't we just show a couple more also of the other people here?
Forget it.
Yeah, and then you work on that, Matt.
Well, get ready for Senator Rittenhouse. Simply wrote, "Can't hardly wait" actor Ethan Embry, who, to be quite fair, is one of the few woke celebrities who've actually followed and shared live updates of the trial on social media. Well, okay.
Who the hell is Ethan Embry?
I don't know. I guess
nobody knows. I don't know how.
I've heard that name before, I think.
Yeah. Can't hardly wait. Which one was that?
That was thing too. Like the people who haven't even watched the trial. How do you have an opinion?
Yeah.
Everybody has an opinion now.
Well, that's these people, they value like rage for the sake of rage and emotion for the sake of emotion, right? Emotional outburst. That's kind of like the value, right? You can't go and think too much about that because then you can't have an emotional outburst. I mean, like the hero of these people is Greta Thunberg for like saying, "How dare you?" I mean, there wasn't too much rationality there. It's like mostly emotional. Hits on the emotional strings. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And that's how they manipulate emotionally. Because rationally, there's no way to go about it. And if I may briefly point, I just thought of something. This is quite a few tweets ago, but it was someone that said that, oh, he's going to kill again and do like another massacre.
Right.
You know, I was thinking that this is what's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because there are so many people who are calling for his death and his termination and wanting people to hunt him out.
Right.
He's never going to walk out the house without that AR-15 again.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's trained in using it. I mean, you have some activists coming with their own little guns trying to do the world a favor as they see it, be on the right side of history, take him out. I can perfectly well see a situation where he's forced to do the same thing again.
Some gun company made him like a custom AR-15. Did you guys hear about that?
Nice.
Wow.
Well, you see he's getting sponsorships already. Brilliant.
Yeah, the kid, he deserves it.
If you wanna share my screen for a second, this is the Colin Kaepernick tweet. But then I'll show you the other article about the AR-15. We just witnessed a system built on white supremacy validate the terroristic act of a white supremacist. This only further validates the need to abolish our current system. White supremacy cannot be reformed. But this is from a same guy who just made a Netflix documentary stating that, like, basically the NFL is like literally like slavery days.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he has less than zero credibility. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there.
No. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. I love that scene where it's like they poke and prod at you, and then they decide what ranking you go, and then they give you, $50 million. It is just like slavery. Like what? Yeah, dude, I'll poke and prod me, man. I'll take 50 mil. You can do really dirty things if you like. Did I just say that out loud?
Wow.
Sorry. Excuse me.
You were in the service. Were you ever poked and prodded in any kind of way that Kaepernick might have objected to?
Oh,
I imagine so.
I missed the first part of that. All I know is you're asking if I was poke and prodded in the military. I was.
Well, yes. Your body is owned by the military, right?
Yes. That's kind of like my point. So I mean, like, there's no disrespect, just like pointing out, like, he's like claiming that, being subject to medical checks.
Yeah, Andre, feel free to disrespect him, though. Feel free.
No. On the contrary, actually, Matt, you have to tell me that tampon story at some point.
Oh my God, you don't want to know.
We're gonna finish the show with the tampon story, all right? Before Andre leaves.
Good already.
All right,
man. Tell everybody what happens. That you walk through a line and they literally get people on each side of you with needles.
each arm because it gets popping them.
Go to town.
I actually hit it. So before we deployed, I was at that perfect time where they were not making it mandatory to get the anthrax vaccine or whatever. And I opted out. And this relates to what's happening now in the military with other vaccines. But we got a lot of pressure. The guys that did not take that vaccine, we got a lot of pressure from the higher up saying like, they couldn't outright say like you have to get it, but they made it like clear like they really wanted you to get it. But as long as you stay, strong to what you believe, because I didn't want that crazy stuff coming at me.
Yeah.
And
it's insane. And I don't even know what the world we live in right now, but Nina's giving us more info. So let's throw this up here.
There it is. Controversial gift for Kyle Rittenhouse prepared for pro-gun group. So they gave him like an AR-15 and said it described the 18-year-old as a warrior for gun owners and self-defense rights across the country. An AR-15 rifle was what Kyle Rittenhouse used to kill two people, blah, blah, blah. So
who's sending it to him?
This pro-gun group.
Okay.
Gun Owners of America, GOA.
Now, what has Black Rifle had to say about this? Because they were so for freedom, and like in the last few months, everying has changed. And I just don't understand.
You don't know what they said? They said
about this verdict? No.
Yeah, they said like basically we said it, we meant it, basically, like, not in so many words. We said it, we meant it. We're not sorry, and we're glad that the customers who left, we're glad they left because basically we called out like the psychos from our customers, and we're happy with
But what did they say though? I still don't know what they said.
Okay, let me try. That was it.
I would like to make sure we get it right, because you're right. You are right.
I actually have an article. Somebody won't like the source, but I don't care.
Okay, go ahead.
Give me a second.
And then we'll move on in a little bit. Way, it's just such a powerful story. Go ahead, Jane.
I was just gonna say, people need to stop putting these companies on pedestals, and you won't get your feelings hurt. If I get anything from them, it's coffee because the coffee's good. I don't know. It is good coffee. I don't care, and it's just, you have to stop holding these people up like that. You don't know them.
But my question is this: why are they even speaking on it? Like,
because all of these companies have put out opinions. It's crazy.
But it's not like he did a commercial for them before this.
Jerry's came out.
Those dudes.
Like, but what are you doing?
They are hippie freaks.
They're crazy people. But anyway, this is basically an article. It says Black Rifle Coffee who disavowed Rittenhouse silent after not guilty verdict. Essentially, Black Rifle Coffee was on all the company's social media accounts after the bombshell verdict in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, came back not guilty on all 5 counts. The veteran-founded coffee company has distanced itself from Rittenhouse after the teenager took a post-bail photo wearing a Black Rifle Coffee t-shirt, and Blaze TV host Elijah Schaffer posted the photo along with the caption, "Kyle Rittenhouse drinks the best coffee in America." Schaffer, whose podcast was sponsored by Black Rifle Coffee, deleted his tweet. And the company spokeswoman said to the Salt Lake Tribune, we did have a conversation with Schaffer, and he understands that the post was a mistake. Wow.
What?
I didn't know Elijah did that. I'll have to.
He bent the knee on that one, huh?
Yeah, he did bend the knee on that one.
We'll see. The company's CEO, Evan Hafer, I don't care, also issued a statement disavowing any relationship with Rittenhouse that said, "We do not sponsor nor do we have a relationship with the 17-year-old facing charges in Kenosha, Wisconsin."
So that was prior to the verdict.
Yes. Breitbart reached out to Black Rifle Coffee.
I can understand.
Coffee on Friday for comment, but received no response. While Black Rifle Coffee remains silent, conservatives torched the company on social media. Mike Cernovich tweeted, "Big L for Black Rifle Coffee cucks." Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find their statement anymore, but they did say something. It's
yeah,
weird.
there was something else, but I could understand, like Jane was just saying, like I could understand beforehand saying, "Whoa, we have nothing to do with the kid. He's wearing our apparel," but we actually have nothing to do with them. But I thought they went farther than that.
They did. I'm trying to find it and I can't. Maybe they deleted it. I don't know. That's weird. They did say stuff though. They were like, more. Basically, we don't care that we lost some of our customers. We're fine with it, kind of thing. That's what they said.
Well, since its disavowal of Rittenhouse, the company has been under fire from the right, which compromises a large portion of its customer base. The company has tried to do damage control, only further antagonizing the right. After its initial statement, Hafer released a video statement saying that the company believed in the Constitution, the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and that the person is innocent until proven guilty, I think is what they tried to say. Mm-hmm. But reiterated that the company did not sponsor Rittenhouse. The company then dug itself into a further hole after Hafer, the company's executive vice president Matt Best, granted in-depth interviews to New York Times in July where they disparaged the right. Best compared January 6th, I hate this thing, protesters wearing Black Rifle Coffee products to terrorist organizations that wear American brands when they go to behead Americans. Do you think they want to be part of that? Man, I'm not drawing a parallel between the two. Bullshit, you just did.
I mean, you just did, yeah.
I'm just simply saying, here are things in business when you grow that are completely outside your control, he said. He added, "You can't let sections of your customers hijack your brand and say, this is who you are. It's like, no, we define that." Hafer acknowledged its disavowal of Rittenhouse may have cost the company customers, but said it allowed the company to draw a line in the sand, according to the Times article. "It's such a repugnant group of people. It's like the worst of American society, and I got to flip the toilet."
There it is. The statement is there, and Andy goes.
Andy knows.
I
was actually reading the
I'm sorry.
comment.
I'm sorry.
She got excited.
Got excited because I was looking at it and I'm like, oh no.
No, it's there.
Well, and see, this is the thing too. I think I somewhat get where he's coming from in the sense that you do see people conflating the actual racists who take up stuff and use it to put forth whatever image. Like you have actual racists who fly the American flag, but America doesn't represent those people, nor do they represent America. No. And you see the same thing with Black Lives Matter. You have some people who are actually there because they're there to support some civil rights action. And then you have those other people who are conflated with them who have a completely separate agenda. And it's like people are constantly having to say, I am fine with these people, but not these crazy people over here.
Yeah, you're totally right, Jane. And that actually happened to me the other day on Twitter. And I shared it in the Queen's Council thread where, you know, I posted this thing about this lady who had lived through the Holocaust, and she was talking about like her experiences with like what's going on with the mandates now, and she was saying like, you know, that how similar it is to the Nazi takeover. And then I had a straight up racist dude, like a straight up anti-Semitic racist dude comment on there and like start basically like bashing Jews. And I was like,
what?
Are you for real? Like, I'm like, are you like a real person that's like super racist against like, Jewish people? Like, because it's
denier.
really it's hard to say that nowadays, because I feel like it, like racism, being racist or anti-Semitic or whatever, is so overused now that you're like,
that when you see a real one.
yeah, that when you see a real one, you're like, is this person actually being racist, or is this like what? So I actually had to post it in the Queen's Council thread and be like, is this person being racist?
You should see the name of some of my members. One night after Gary from Nerdrotic, great friend of the channel, passed over people to my stream, I got 45 new members that night at my lowest level. And the members, the name of those members were so wrong. They used, like, one name was just the N-word over and over again. One name, I don't even know if I could say this. It was
don't say it.
Yeah, it was a something shower party talking about a concentration camp. Oh yeah, I'll show you guys afterwards.
God.
I was disgusted. They're still members. They paid $1 or $2 each. I don't know why they did it, but I got so many. I had to send something to YouTube. I'm like, I don't know what this is all about, but I'm not a racist, I swear.
Make yourself full screen.
Well, I'm gonna add this to the
Sitting here.
I can't speak. I know, it was perfect though. So this is what Mad wanted everybody to see, and I'll zoom in even more because it is hard to see. It's not going to zoom in more than that. So, what do we got? I want. Don't worry, I took away those pictures. Roseanne Arquette said, "Oh, these are all in this article." Like Roseanne Arquette said, I want to live.
Oh my God, freaking George Takei. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. I'll get there. I want to live in a country where Colin Kaepernick is seen as a hero and Kyle Rittenhouse is seen as a terrorist. What? George Takei says, I want to live in a country where Colin Kaepernick is seen as a hero and Kyle Rittenhouse.
So that's like the exact same thing.
You have Rosanna. No, it is
weird.
It is exactly the same thing from Rosanna Arquette, LeVar Burton, George Takei, Morgan Freeman, Mohammed Safah, Rex Chapman, Mark Lamont Hill, John Cooper. They all wrote almost. No, it is the exact.
It's the same tweet, but they've like reposted it in their own.
It's right. The globalist toolkit, kids. This is not new.
But do they send them out a memo in the morning?
They send them a link to resources in a Google Drive.
Oh shit, sugar.
You missed Tom.
I do. I miss Tom. I don't put anything wrong. I just said I miss you, man. Come on the show.
Well, no, here's the thing. That is the globalist toolkit. You just saw it. They get that information. It's usually distributed through a Google Drive, right? Everybody gets access to the thing. It has all of the materials, everything that they expect all of their influencers to regurgitate word for word. In fact, sometimes they'll have like 4 or 5 different quotes that you can use to repost and retweet. And this seems to happen more and more frequently. And again, I mean, if you don't believe that, you're being worked against actively by more than one party, you ain't paying attention. But here we are with let me do this. Let me do this.
George, he's got a beautiful soul.
And George will be here.
Strong disagree.
He will be here in a few. Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. Let's move him over there. George will be on in a couple minutes for $19.99 though, and a channel member. George says, 1, all propaganda is lying. Not all lying is propaganda. Like if Garden Gnome Greta were ashamed that people caught her owning stock in fossil fuels, she'd lie, saying, no, I don't. It was gifted to me. I didn't buy it. Yeah. Did I say that wrong? Okay. Right. Okay. And then George, you don't have to be popping all this money, but I'll take it. $19.99 again from George. He says, 2, propaganda doesn't shade the truth. It inverts it to destroy, while propaganda, programming others. God, I can't speak. The mirror image of reality. She would turn around and say, I don't own one. Worse, you drill for oil, you monster. So deflecting it with even a worse, not me, it's you. Right. I respect that. And then George for another $19.99. 3, all hail to the amazing panel, the new legends of live. That's us. All hail Sporking podcast. You forgot the news. And Mads. And you're talking shit on the guy.
I didn't say anything.
I love you, Mad. I love you, man. But why? Why include Mads in that?
Yeah,
No.
Why?
dude.
Because I'm awesome.
No.
So we're gonna try to
No one disagrees.
get away from this conversation for a little bit because we have been talking about it for an hour and 15 minutes. But I believe, Andre, I would like to hear I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I didn't know if you stepped away for a second.
No, just so I mute when I cough.
No, please don't worry about it. Standing back, not being from the country, and then Nina, I want to go to you too. What are your feelings? Like, what has this told you about America in general? Because I had a gentleman from England who literally a great channel, Christian Fandom Geek, I think is the name of his channel, great guy. Yep. But he literally said to me, he's like, all I think of America is that you're so racist. He's like, we have it here in England, the cops are racist and people are racist towards each other, but not like America. And I'm like, but that's exactly like there are some people that are, and there are some people that aren't. What do you see from an outsider looking in, the two of you?
From my point of view, America is the single least racist country on the face of the earth.
Can I get an amen?
Everyone
Amen.
that thinks that America is so unbelievably racist, go travel to any other country and see how well you'll be taken care of there. Like, for instance, the UK. The UK is a hell of a lot more racist than the US is. Absolutely. Same with Norway. In many ways, it also is much more racist because America is simply much more diverse, and it's more ingrained there than anywhere else on the planet. And all of this, like, tear the whole system down and everything. All of this, like, propaganda. Yeah, you tear it down and you build it with what? What happens then is that China rolls in with the tanks, and then you can forget all about that diversity and everything you were looking forward to. Or again, just take a trip to China, see how well you will work with the diversity there. Take a trip to the Middle East, see how well your LGBTQ plus representation works there. Basically, America is the
women's
melting
rights
pot of the world. Yeah, women's rights, everything.
Yeah.
And this is what the people that like to go and complain, which is why it's obviously funded by people that only want to tear the whole system down so someone else can take over, because that's the only thing to be achieved by it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I totally agree with you, Andre. And I think that one of the things that a lot of people conflate, again, it's another, vocabulary is important. So one of the things that a lot of people conflate is the idea of racism versus discrimination. And yes, I think that discrimination exists more than racism, or like there is definitely a debate and an argument to be had whether systemic racism exists or not in America. I don't think it does. Personally, I don't I'm one of those people who doesn't think it's systemic. I think there is discrimination and it happens every day. And I think that a lot of people formulate, their own ideas based on whatever. And then they have some discrimination depending on, what group of people you're talking about. But I think that that's natural though, in a way, because that's kind of like humans finding familiarity or unfamiliarity within a group of people. That's how we work. It's like a scientific thing. But not that it's okay. It happens, and it's natural for it to happen. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you want to start to evolve and think on a higher plane of existence and, keep going up instead of downwards, you have to kind of look inward to see if you do that on an individual basis. Right. Not that it's something that collectively is ever going to be solved. It's going to be solved individually when people start to really look within and think about, why do I think this of a certain group of people? Why do I think this and that? But I do not think that, I do not think the United States is a racist country. I think that I actually think that things have changed a lot more since 2001. For people like me, especially, I think that, because I went through a period where discrimination was extreme against, Middle Easterns and Persians and Arabs and that period I think was it was a little bit rough for me, but like now having moved forward, I think that same playing book of what happened to Middle Easterns in the United States is actually being turned around and happening to white men. And I think that one of the reasons that this is really it's extremely weird to me, because I feel like in a way it's karmic. Like, I know that sounds really weird, but I feel like because a lot of people didn't stand up for that group of people, now they're kind of reaping the rewards. Like, the Patriot Act should have never happened. It
Absolutely
should have never
not.
been a thing, and it was, and now it's being used to get rid of their own people.
I love that you said that.
If we knew it was going to be used against white people, we would have never done it in the first place. That was
Yeah,
the
but-
goal of it.
That's not
I
true,
know,
because
but
we
that's
gave
not the way it
women the
works.
right, but we gave women the right to vote, and we knew that would be used against us. So what kills me is this, though. You put it perfectly. A lot of people are now coming back around and saying the Patriot Act. Oh, we would call you a conspiracy theorist. A decade ago, 15 years ago, if you said it would be used against Americans. Well, look at parents. They are using it to track parents at PTA and school board meetings and listing them as terrorists. I can't. I can't.
I agree with Nina. I think a lot of it just comes down to basic tribalism, whether you call it racism or discrimination or prejudice. It's just people being people. But I do think you do have certain issues that are only going to be resolved with people getting more involved in government. I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, there's no such thing as systematic racism, particularly in the context of criminal justice, because you do still have patterns of enforcement that are more discriminatory against one group than others. And that's something that has to be dealt with. But at the same time, part of it is this larger problem of criminalizing addiction. Because most of the people who are getting locked up in the first place, most of the people who are being profiled to be stopped, it's almost always about drugs.
Yep.
Almost always. And if you could deal with that differently, then you wouldn't have the same hostility between the community and the police or the government and all this stuff.
100.
That's curious. That's curious that you say that. And yeah, addiction does exist, but it starts first with the initial act of criminal behavior.
Well,
right?
It shouldn't be criminalized at that point.
The focus should be on people that are selling quantity. When you nab a kid because he is addicted to heroin and he sold 2 bags because he needed the money to get his 1 bag, I understand that something else other than jail time needs to happen. And a lot of the times they go directly to jail. They should go to treatment.
Or something other than a felony, because you have a lot of people who are addicted to drugs, right?
I was.
And they need assistance, they need treatment. But if you're locking them up every time and you're giving them felonies after, because in Louisiana,
destroys their life.
You can still get a felony for marijuana possession.
Yeah, it blows my mind.
And so how can you then go out and get a job when you get clean? I mean,
right. Look, let me say this real quick, Culture, and then right to you. The drug laws in America are Puritan propaganda laws. Okay, the reason why at the federal level, marijuana is still illegal because
it's not that it hasn't been proven to be fixed in other places, like even even
in our own states.
You're missing something big here.
You have blueprints in other countries where you are all drugs are legal in certain countries, and their crime has dropped dramatically because of that fact. So I think that a lot of when you take that as, why are you shaking your head, Culture? You don't think that's the case?
No, you know what? Someday we'll do this an in-depth conversation about it, because
I'm kind of with Culture on this one.
Yeah, there are plenty of countries where they've tried to follow that model and it created far worse crime issues. There are statistics and
I would like, we will do this on a different stream.
I guess
I would like to talk about it.
The thing with marijuana is not that it's just illegal in the federal system, that it's a Schedule 1. It is the highest level of illicit drugs that there is. It is on the
Which
same.
Makes no sense.
Exactly. That's the biggest problem with it. So when states, when the states legalize it or whatever, it still has that federal. Right.
Oh no,
Schedule 1.
Oh no, the stoner's gonna go grab a hamburger. Watch out.
The vice president smokes it.
But that's my point though is just the fact that we criminalize and we create these incredibly serious consequences to offenses that could be better resolved through health programs or through treatment programs or things of that nature. There's no reason we should be locking up such a substantial portion of our population because they're addicted to drugs. I mean, it just makes no logical sense, and it feeds into so many of these other issues that we see in just in the community at large, and the perceptions of racism and all this other stuff.
Well, talking about drugs, Ghostbusters after. Oh, wait a minute, that doesn't work.
Wait, I'm going to the movies like right after.
We're not talking. We're not doing spoilers. We're not doing spoilers at all.
Nina.
We want to talk about the effect on it. The effect. You know what? You know what, Nina?
Before we do that, we have two things, right? First of all, Toxic Man Flu's been a member for a year, over a year, actually, 15 months at the little finger level, and says members who get nothing.
Bang a finger.
That means we are actually a cult. All hail the great Spork savior. Down with the tree defiler.
I love that. Toxic. I love him.
Tox sends a follow-up later on that it's okay, Scott.
Sorry about that.
For $10, Toxic Man Flu says, Scott?
U.S. History 101. Individual freedom, the basis of the American Revolution, and our form of government was started by a group of German Quaker women.
Strong disagree.
Well, you hate women.
Don't put me next to him. I don't want to be sitting next to Mad.
Okay, hold on. Matt needs to go over there anyways. Let's talk about this because you know what, Nina? Neither has Andre seen the movie, but I do want to discuss this article because I'll try to skip over anything that is considered a spoiler.
I like this format. I've never tried this before.
Isn't it cool?
I like it.
Make sure you give us props for that one. Thanks, buddy. You got a huge channel compared to mine. Ghostbusters Afterlife review. A play for nostalgia and merch. Jason Reitman, son of original Ghostbusters. Reitman, I'm sorry. Ghostbusters director delivers a toothless film with Paul Rudd as a love interest and plenty of cutesy ghosts. Okay, my question is this. Has anybody watched the movie and do you think it was toothless? And what does that even mean for a Ghostbusters movie?
Please define what a toothless film is.
I think it means it's not serious. Like, it doesn't have bite. It's silly.
Yeah. That's what Andre, what do you think that means? Like toothless? Like, were any of the Ghostbusters like riveting? Like they were fun.
I think what they mean is that it isn't subversive. I think that's exactly what I mean. I think that what they mean by that is that this is exactly what fans expected. And from the point of view of the New York Times, that's bad because they probably view the fan base because of the whole politicization of the previous movie. They probably see the fan base as a bunch of Kyle Rittenhouses. And you can't give the fan base what they want, and this didn't go far enough in subverting it. This wasn't something that set out with the goal of offending and pissing off the fan base. And for that, they mean it's toothless. That's my best interpretation.
Absolutely mad.
Like Bojan said, they didn't attack anyone. They didn't try to send a message, so that would explain it.
Right, because I don't know about any of you, and again, this isn't a spoiler, Nina. But like when I saw the trailers, my one fear was, okay, the little girl is going to be like this super protagonist who's going to, and don't get me wrong, she was great. She was great in the movie. The girl was great. Like she wasn't this, Mary Sue. She wasn't this Ray, like she had her issues. She had her own problems when it came to making friends. But it was like a group effort. Let's just put it that way.
I'm going to say this, and this is me before seeing the movie. So it'll be really interesting to see
what
happens after I see the movie.
Yeah.
But when I saw the trailer, I had like a couple reactions. One, it felt way too Stranger Things-y. So I was like,
oh, okay.
I think it might be because of that, like the kid that's
the one kid, right,
from Stranger Things. And I was like, and it kind of like they tried to do the really similar thing with it, like the new live action, like the group of kids going on an adventure, and it's shot similarly to Stranger Things. So I think that they're trying to kind of like get that crowd. And
Right.
so like initially, like my thoughts were like when I saw the trailer, I thought it was a little too silly. I did think it was a little too silly. And I thought that it's like they want to just make it like all kiddie, because it wasn't like it wasn't like that. Ghostbusters originally wasn't a kiddie like movie. Like there was barely any kids in it. Like if any, it was about a bunch of adult men doing something.
Yeah, there was one
silly,
baby in the
really
second
cool.
one. Right.
Yeah, like which was really cool to see. Like you know, and I kind of understand what they're trying to say. Like like we're trying to pass the buck to the next generation kind of thing, but I don't necessarily think that that's a good thing. I think some things should just stay classic. That's my personal opinion. Like it has nothing to do with anything, but
I want to know after you're done, I want to know if you thought that's what they did. After you see the movie, did they pass on a baton?
Yeah, I want to see. I'm looking forward to finding that out.
That's interesting.
I'm hoping they did.
Yeah. Well, wait till you haven't seen it either?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
No.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear from you guys on this one. We'll have to
Jane,
get together.
are you gonna go soon?
I'm going today.
Okay, me too. So like I'm thinking, because
tomorrow
we were originally going to be talking about Cowboy Bebop on Sunday for my show.
Not that great.
But I'm thinking we might be talking about Ghostbusters instead.
Why don't we do that?
Cowboy Bebop, and I freaking cannot, like, the things I've seen from Cowboy Bebop. I'm like, I can't bring myself.
I've watched five episodes, and I can tell you I've only watched probably 8 of the actual anime, and the anime's so much better, but it's not. Let me just say this one thing. The actors aren't as bad as I thought they were going to be, but the show, just like, if you were just going to try to do your carbon copy of, just leave it alone then. If you're going to like try, like the first episode is the first episode of the anime, pretty much. Like, wait till you see it.
I was hoping that it would be, because they look so old. I was actually hoping it would be set in the future.
Right. Everything looks like it's from the 50s, and I think, the main actor looks too old to be Spike, but
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring it to Cowboy Bebop. But
that's all right.
My thing was that, instead of talking about that, we're probably going to be talking spoilers for Ghostbusters on Sunday. So you're more than welcome to join us, Scott.
Oh, I'll try to stop by. Mexican Ironman for $19.99, who is a channel member, and I really truly appreciate him. He is hilarious.
You want to fight, Nick? You want to fight?
Hail my great friends Scott, Andre, Culture, Nina, and Jane. It's awesome to see Mads, the intern, listening in from the road. Ghostbusters rocked. That's what I'm getting from everybody. I was hoping Tom would be here for this. Like, can I tell you, I got choked up at the end. I got choked up. Like, it hit me in like a way movies haven't. Okay, how do I say it without, like, it hit a part of me where it's like, they tried to make one of the characters, what they have been doing to white fathers and males for a while, and then it's totally redeemed by the end. Like, it's just, they didn't go with those tropes we've been seeing. It was a movie, and that's all it was. It was a fun movie, and I love that about it. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say tomorrow night on it, because I really, like, I hope. Sometimes you watch something and then somebody brings something up and I'm like, oh, that just crushed the movie for me. And I feel like this didn't have it.
I was hoping for that too. With them having kids, I was hoping that would be a good dad.
You'll see.
Oh, no.
You'll see. Paul Rudd's great, though. I liked him in it. He's kind of goofy, like Paul Rudd always is. I'd love to hear what the chat thinks. If you've been in it, did you like it or did you not? This is who I was talking about earlier, Christian Fandom Geek. Great channel, guys. Make sure you support him. Really great voice. He's an intelligent guy. We were talking about the race relations between England and America on a Twitter live or whatever you call that.
Yeah. And it's spaces or whatever they're calling it now. But yeah, it's I mean, someday we have to get into that conversation too. You know what? I appreciate the fact that we're all very brave now and we're able to talk about some very difficult and complex issues. And guess what? We all get along.
Yay!
Well, here you go. This is for you, Scott.
What's that? Hold on. Toxic Man Flu for another $5, man. Thank you so much. My mom walked my family out of Ghostbusters when I was 15 because of the scene where Bill Murray asked the librarian if she was menstruating. I forgot about that. That's a great scene. Let's get back to this. Do we have any more of the I hate that we can't. Andre,
I keep checking.
Okay, Andre, do you hate how StreamYards and YouTube don't support the members like milestones?
It's a pain in the ass.
What the hell, man?
It really is. And also like just a lack of repositories. Like I would like to have like a repository just for super chats.
Yeah.
Is repository the wrong word?
Right. No,
that's something else, isn't it?
Yeah, that's something a little bit different, but I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Well, fine. I meant like a cache, a storage.
Yeah, there's
I just remembered.
Repository. Okay, yep, you got it. Suppository was good enough, though.
No,
I didn't say repository, but anyway.
Did I miss it? I'm sorry.
But anyway, yeah, like for member chats and for super chats and all of that stuff, it would be awesome to have that in StreamYard. It's such a pain in the ass to have to like use two windows. Right. One that you can edit and one that you can't, just to get everything that's happening.
Yeah. Our boy Mads has to get going because he has a show coming up after this show.
Yep.
And when does that start? In about a half hour, 45 minutes?
Yeah, about a half hour, yeah. Probably just going to wait until you're done.
Okay.
Because everyone I know that watches mine show is here already.
Well, we got 58 people watching right now. Thank you, everybody. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And then go over and support Mad. I can't believe I'm saying this. And subscribe to his little channel. I mean, he has like such a small channel.
I really do.
He really does. It's pathetic.
It's in the back alley of YouTube where it belongs.
It's fun. Today's show is going to be all new. We're on Mad Barber Entertainment. So.
Yeah, tell them what the show's about before you leave.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to talk about any of this stuff. And if you're thinking that you're going to get a serious conversation, you're not. You're going to get a little improv we're going to do. It's going to be how roommates living with a ghost and how they deal with that with a ghost. And we may do some other things. We got some letters because we have an email that you can email us at madbarbere@gmail.com. Email us anything, please, for the love of God.
I'll try to send something. Mad Barber E, the letter E.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Stop talking about it because you're making it worse, though. So just people go over there after this show and support it, and it might be funny.
It is going to be funny. I'm there.
Totally. Well, who's on the show with you?
Culture will be there. YetiCast will be there.
Yeti's funny.
Barber, and then our producer Kip, he'll be in the back.
14 Barber is amazing. His strangeness stream is so good.
Yeah, he hasn't done one of those in like
months.
Every Saturday, 1 p.m. Great.
Never. No.
Okay, well then, thanks for being here. It's time for you to leave.
Good seeing you again, Matt.
It was good seeing you, Andre. And by the way, I'm available whenever you do your stream.
Okay, it's time for him to go. It's time for him to go. Say goodbye, Matt.
Bye, guys.
God,
he just came back and he left.
Yeah, he begs people every single time, and maybe I see a little bit of myself in him, and that's why I can't stand it. But back to this article. Hopefully I will try to make sure we don't say any spoilers. If it seems that the only movie big Hollywood knows how to make is the one they made last year and the year before that, there's a reason. The industry's franchise fever is real, though much depends on timing. My colleague Kyle Buchanan.
Buchanan.
I can't speak English, bro. Once determined that while successful sequels tend to be rolled out every few years, those that wait 6 years are often doomed to fail. That may be welcome news for the latest Ghostbusters, a cautious, painlessly watchable, kid-centric romp that is openly precisely 5 years, 4 months, and 4 days after the previous installment went splat.
Wow, that's to the point.
Yeah, this guy has feelings. So Ghostbusters Afterlife was directed by Jason Reitman, whose father, Ivan Reitman, directed the first 2 movies and was in line to take on the third. Over many years and after many more studio notes and new director Paul Feig. I don't know how some people... Yeah, Feig, okay, was brought in, and the third movie became a female-driven reboot. Andre, you guys always talked about this stuff. So what was it that we could never get a third movie going? Was it all Bill Murray, or was it other things that were involved?
It was several things. To begin with, it was Bill Murray, because Bill Murray is always a hold-up in anything there is, right? So the reason that you didn't get Ghostbusters 3 for the first decade they were trying, no, sorry, not decade, but for the first 5 years, it was very much so Bill Murray. However, if they had gotten him aboard, that alone doesn't agree that they would have gotten the green light and the studio funding.
Okay.
So he was one stumbling block, but he wasn't the stumbling block that would have prevented the whole thing. Let's just assume that he had said yes the whole time.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that the movie would have been made. The bigger stumbling block, as that, is the studio. The studio have to approve. Because with or without Bill Murray, this was the problem. It was Amy Pascal who was running Sony at the time. She fundamentally didn't have faith in Ivan Reitman, because the idea was that it would be Ivan Reitman, because he owns a stake in the Ghostbusters franchise.
Right.
So they knew how Bill Murray is, that he's probably going to be difficult. He's not going to say yes in advance. But we write him apart, he's probably going to show up anyway. So he really wasn't that big a stumbling block. The stumbling block there was that Amy Pascal rejected take after take after take, because she wasn't confident in the director. This is something that was very clear from the Sony hack. So she went and she looked for other directors and people to help out.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice save on the mute too. That was quick.
That was great.
That's professional.
But then Harold Ramis died, and then Amy Pascal used the opportunity to force Reitman out, and then the project was hers.
When did he die? Was that 2014 or 13? Was it that?
It was thereabouts. I don't recall now exactly when it was.
Yep. And then we
got Paul Feig. And the idea at this point was still to do Ghostbusters 3. That was always the plan. And it was always going to be a mixed team of men and women, even under Reitman. This was the idea. Passing of the torch to a new, younger mixed team. But Paul Feig, he didn't know how to do a sequel. He was like, I can't do this. The only way I know how to do this movie is to do one of my female-centric remakes. And Amy Pascal loved the idea. And so he threw together a pitch to her. And in our first massive Ghostbusters video, we go through this pitch in detail. We read it out loud because it was in the leaked Sony emails. And it's one of the worst pitches the world has ever seen. But Amy Pascal loved it. And so it happened. And that's the moment that Ghostbusters 3 ceased to be. And we got the remake instead. Which is stunning because the demand was for a sequel, not for a remake. It doesn't matter what kind of a remake. It's that it is a remake. In my opinion, if it had been like a straight-up remake with anyone else, it would have failed just as badly, just as poorly as the RoboCop remake, because people didn't want a remake. They wanted a continuation, and Amy Pascal wasn't going to give them that. Or rather, Paul Feig wasn't going to give them that.
Right. Now, is this the, are you talking about the video you guys did, the controversial behind the movie Ghostbusters? Yeah, that's the one. That's the
one.
I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to share that in the chat because I think people should really check it out afterwards. You guys did it 5 years ago, and I want people to realize, it still sings true today. What you're talking about, it explains everything. But I wanted to ask you, Andre, do you think they could have made the movie that after, I want to hear what you say before and then after you see the movie. Before going to see the new Ghostbusters, could they have made the third one without Murray? And did they need him for this one? Did they need him for this one?
I would say that they would need him because he was such a big part of the earlier ones. That unless you completely shift around the story, you do need him to be there. It's going to be a very weird presence without him. So I would say they needed him, and I also do not doubt for 1 second that they wouldn't get him.
Right.
Because this is how he is. He's like a weirdo. And
Yeah.
whenever he signs on for a project, you never know if you get him or not until the shoot begins and he
Right.
shows up on set. That's when you know.
Right.
And if he doesn't, you better have a backup plan ready.
That's so weird about him.
It's
like,
insane.
doesn't he
That's
like
how it
only
is.
have like a voicemail? Like he has like one of
Yeah.
the old voicemail, recorders.
Yeah,
Like,
basically, it's kind of like you hire a hitman. You
Yeah.
kind of like you give a location,
Right.
you say an amount, and you like here's an email with further descriptions, and this is the date.
yeah.
And
yeah.
and if you accept this mission and show up at the assigned time.
Yeah. Right. So we're gonna get back to the article, and the person just goes on about how Ghostbusters is goofy, too smart, dumb, fun, blah blah blah. And so Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is a cuddly and toothless, as you would expect from a relaunched studio property, in which the main characters are children, and Paul Rudd plays a love interest. They are all predictably adorable and have big, easy to read eyes. The better to widen in. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on this word, right? Find. Okay, surprised or mock fear when various ghosts come calling. So this person's just destroying this movie. For the people that saw it, I want to know, did you find this movie to be anything more than just something that was fun? It was a fun movie. George!
Hello, my friend.
How are you? Did you see Ghostbusters?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Trying to stay spoiler free because a couple people haven't watched it yet. Some are going today, some a couple weeks. Did you find it to be just a nostalgia driven, toothless, shouldn't have been made movie, or was it fun?
I can put it in like maybe 3 sentences because I think I'm one of the few people that disagrees. I think it was a meh film. It had an incredible beginning, which I haven't seen in a long time.
Right.
And it had a brilliant ending.
Yeah.
The rest of it for me was like, okay. It wasn't horrible. It's like I've talked about 12 different people, family and friends and some coworkers. And when they first came out of the movie, I said, give me a call. I just want to hear what your thoughts are because I saw it yesterday. I saw it Thursday. And their first reaction was, I think it was so-so,
Right.
It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. And I was like, okay, cool. But this morning, 4 of them called me and they were like, man, I really loved it after I thought about it. I'm like, really? I'm like, did you talk to anyone? It's like, well, I went online and I talked to people and I said, oh. See, what I think is the problem is that as an audience, we have a sort of a battered spouse syndrome.
Oh, absolutely.
That we're so used to being beaten over the head with Hollywood politics that when it's subtle and barely there, people are like, wow, that's phenomenal. And I'm like, well,
Right.
that means you just didn't get hit today. That doesn't mean anything. Was it really a great film? Because, see, I try to be objective. Like, I want to enjoy it. I go with
Right.
everything. Even Eternals. Even though I didn't like the trailers, I'm like, I want to go enjoy this film. I don't go in with, how do I butcher it? And so when I walked in, I was like, cool. There was about half the audience was there. Because I went Wednesday night to a special screening and I missed the first 10 minutes. So I went back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I went back Thursday. But Wednesday night, there was only 20 people there. I'm like, no big deal. It's a Wednesday night. But it was half full on Thursday. And again, the first 10 minutes, they really grabbed you. And maybe that'll change my perspective because people kept saying this beginning. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go back in. But after that, the nostalgia, I will say what Reitman did perfectly, and I haven't seen it done this well except for Cobra Kai. Not a movie, but a series, is that he spiced the nostalgia, I think, in the right proportions, like a master chef. I mean, he literally was like, it wasn't too much where everyday people who don't know anything about Ghostbusters or the franchise would be overwhelmed and go, what the hell is this?
Right.
And for the fans, I think it was great. So that he did perfectly. His directing, I think, was masterful. And the effects, this is something I haven't yet been able to quantify into like one or two words, is the effects. They had the spirit of the original film, but they were better. It's like he did both things at the same time. He updated them, but still held on to the essence of them. So I
wanted to bring that up. I'm glad you said that because we had a discussion on our last stream about how some people feel effects can take you out of a movie if they're not good. Some say, it doesn't. I was one of those people that said the effects, if it's a storyline that I'm not enjoying, it could easily take me out.
Oh yeah.
You put it perfectly. The Reitman's effects are classic 80 feel, but updated.
Yep.
And I thought he did a really excellent job keeping that original, like, okay, it's kind of like 80s feel to it, but it's definitely updated more. I do have to disagree with you a little bit. I personally thought the first 10 minutes and the last 15, 20 was fantastic.
I agree.
The story in the middle, the daughter or the granddaughters was more interesting because of her little friend than the son's story. So I enjoyed that part of them, like finding out, like you said, sprinkling the nostalgia through as a lesson almost in what it was. I think they did an excellent job with that. What about you, Culture Casino? Are you still here or you be right back type thing?
He said I'm going to slide out soon, but
okay.
Hi, George.
Hi, Nina.
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So very
Yeah. Hey, George.
Hello, Andre. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, thank you. How about yourself?
Doing well. Thank y'all for having me on. Great to see everyone.
Of course.
Jane,
Right.
Jane, there. Jane, how you
Hello.
doing?
Good.
Where's
how are you?
Mads? So I can poke him.
Oh, Mads, we kicked him out knowing you were going to be here.
And
I
Culture,
missed
hello.
him by like 3
Hey, what's
seconds.
up, George?
Yep.
Matt's got scared because you were coming on.
Yeah, he said, dude, I'm out. I'm out.
What's the thing about this film is that what he did phenomenally well. That's why I said, and I don't want anyone, like I said it in my first.
Don't spoil it.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm working on the review now, actually. Whatever I think or whatever anyone else thinks, don't let it spoil your fun. If you enjoy it, like I might pick up things you don't pick up, or you may pick them up but don't give a shit about them.
Right.
Don't let anyone ruin your fun. If I don't like it, so what?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
what I
giving
said
you my
about like.
opinion.
That's what I said about all movies, like even like
Right.
stuff like Eternals. It's like go see it and make your
Right.
own mind.
Yes.
Don't ever let anyone stop you from enjoying what you
Exactly.
enjoy. If you like it, you like it. Like
Right. Well, we all
wrong
did. Like
with it?
Tina Bojan and I disagree on some of the Marvel series, but she
Loki.
is a Loki. She
Loki.
loves Loki. You know what? I love her though. I love her for being brave enough to say that and knowing that we're not going to attack anybody for what they enjoy.
No.
We might make
You
fun
love
of
her.
you.
Yeah, we're not.
You love her
Nice.
so much that you call me Tina.
I do.
That's how much you love her.
I do.
Nina's
What's up,
Sorry,
Culture?
I'm sorry.
No, I have to run because I got to get ready for Mad's show. But I
That's
wanted to.
sad.
I know, but I wanted to say, But I wanted to
wants
say
go
this.
put on some makeup for
I
Mads.
really enjoyed the film. And George and I have disagreed on this multiple times now.
Yeah, it's okay.
But no, of course it's fine. But I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was one of those unique, return to a familiarity that we hadn't had in a long time. And George is 1,000% right about the special effects. And what I am so happy about, and this is the crux of it all. And in Monday's video, which is being edited right now, in Monday's video, I talk specifically about the fact that this film was made for $75 million.
Wow, really?
Well, that's a feat. That's a feat.
And there are a lot of reasons that worked out that way. But it was made for $75 million versus 2016, which was made for $144 million.
God, that movie's terrible.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God, it's so bad.
2016.
That's just a vagina
Yikes.
flop. That's hard.
It's not good. It's not good. But it's almost twice as much budget, and it really fell short. But on that note, I'm going to slide out, Scott.
All right, we'll be sending people over in a little bit.
Go
good.
slide into Mads.
Yeah, go
Get it.
slide.
Bye.
Everybody, Culture is
Slide in,
sliding
that
deep
sounds
into
good.
Mad's stream.
He can't even.
Yeah,
he can't even grab your hair
You
anymore.
set it up, man. You set it up. I couldn't help it.
Little dope boy, let that settle. Let that settle.
Oh, hey.
Bye.
Hey, Culture.
Bye.
The-
Bye, Dorothy Hamill from 1977
Oh my
Olympics.
It's Lord Clark.
Oh my God, that's what he looks like.
That's it. He looks like
I'm curious
looks-
to hear. What does
Dead.
Andre
I'm
think?
dead.
Andre
That
hasn't
is
seen it
fucking
yet.
Funny. You guys want to see something funny?
Yeah, let's do funny now, and then we're gonna be closing down in about 5 to 10 minutes because I know Andre must be getting very close to bedtime, and we also
pretty late there soon. So yeah.
Yeah, what time is it there?
Well, it's not too bad. It's 10 o'clock now.
Oh,
10
well,
PM, so it's not too bad.
I actually like that we did this 2 o'clock show. I actually enjoyed this time slot. So thank you, Andre, and we'll definitely have to have you back on for another special dump.
Oh, absolutely.
I just like saying that
just
too.
doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right.
No,
It doesn't.
That's
It doesn't.
that's unpleasant.
My God. Did you see
I just saw this and I was like,
That's
I'm
hilarious.
dead.
Ben and Jerry's is terrible, dude. Though
They used to be great until they got again and ruined their shit with politics.
everybody has.
See, that's one of the things about Ghostbusters that really drove me crazy. And this is why I tell people, like, I look for everything. Like, when I go to watch a film, I enjoy it, but then my mind is still active. And because of the fact that, ever since 2015, 2014, they took this culture war from cold to hot, where they started overtly beating people over it. To me, did you notice, Scott, there are 4 to 5 scenes where they had that message. They stitched it in there.
Yeah. I would say 4, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. See, that's why I say, even in the review that I'm doing, I'm like, you may not care about this. So if you don't care about it, you're gonna go have a good time. If you do care about it, you're gonna be like, eh.
Yeah.
That I have to say, it was subtle. Some of them were subtle. Very subtle. And I understand why he did it, but it is dangerous. You took the words out of my mouth. It actually is dangerous that even in a movie like this, they did slide some of that in. But I felt like for the most part,
right,
when you go and watch this and see, I do it a little differently. While I'm watching it the first time, I just shut down. And I just watch a film for what the film is giving me. And a lot of the times I could walk out of a film and be like, that wasn't too bad. And 15 minutes later, I'm like, that was the worst propaganda film I have ever seen in my life. Because that's how
That's kind of how I felt about Bond. Like, I went and watched Bond and I was like, that's all right. Like, it wasn't as woke as I imagined it because, they didn't have, like, Lashana Lynch literally taking out a tampon. And
I wanted to headbutt her.
I mean, she was like his nanny.
Yeah, but
I'll shoot you in your good leg.
But then it wasn't great as a Bond movie. Like, I was like, okay, like, yeah, it's not the worst, but it's also not the best by a long shot. And so that's actually like one of my concerns going into Ghostbusters is exactly what you guys are talking about, is that I feel like we've just in the past couple of years brought down our standards so much about what's acceptable as a good movie that if we don't see something woke in it, that means it's great, and it's like not necessarily, like not necessarily.
Jane, do you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Or anything else, like it doesn't necessarily mean it's a great movie.
Do you agree with that, Jane?
I do tend to pick up on the more subtle stuff, especially when it comes to femininity, and I hate what we're seeing with little girls, and you can't tell that they're a girl. That's like a pattern. It's in the trailer, and I tried to ignore it.
Right.
But I still see it.
Did you?
I see that too.
She has
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Well, Jane, without spoiling it, I'm just going to tell you what you see in the trailer. There's a few scenes where they pronounce it more, where it's not just. That's why I said it depends on your perspective. But Nina said what I've been trying to say all weekend, which thank you for helping me. I couldn't figure out how to crystallize that. It's because I keep trying to say, it's like a spousal abuse syndrome, but I just don't like the way that sounds. Especially for a video
it's too
review.
kind.
Yeah, but it's the fact that a lot of people, when I just sat there right when we exited the cinema, and there was a unique thing that happened, especially during Koof times. People were sitting around talking about it. Going back in, hey, can I refill my drink? Of course, now I got to pay another $50, but then they started talking about it, and you had half the people were like, "Wow, I had a really good time," and the other half of the crowd are like, "It wasn't as good as I thought." Then, as they started walking to the car, they were arguing. I really liked it. Well, why didn't you like it? Well, didn't you see all the politics in it? Like, no, not at all. You're crazy. You're too sensitive. And I think the fact is, she said, we've lowered our standards. So when you're not being clubbed over the head. And that to me is much more sinister. When they hit you with a bat, you can say, "Hey, they're hitting me with a bat." When they slide it in there where it's stitched into the foundation of a film, it's so subtle that if you're not paying attention to it, but what does it do to you? It gets people to turn and go, hey, what's wrong? That's a great movie. You're just too sensitive to this shit.
But that's exactly how propaganda works, George.
Right.
They like the best kind of propaganda is the propaganda you don't actually know is happening to you. So
Yep.
when it
Yes.
seeps into these like, you know, pop culture, like extremely popular pop culture that they seep it in, and then you can't tell, like normies can't tell, but they're
Yep.
actually being influenced, and that's exactly how subtle propaganda works. So this is what it's happened to me multiple times now. It happened to me with Godzilla versus Kong. It happened to me with Mortal Kombat. It happened to me with Bond. So like the past few movies that I've watched that like kind of enjoyed, and I've been like, oh, like it was okay because it wasn't woke.
Right.
I like after the fact, I thought about it and I was like, they weren't good movies either. Like,
See,
it's not
yeah, that's
good.
another big thing. Is it okay? So Bond slapped in. I felt like it slapped me in the face
Oh,
with
yeah.
it. But I
Especially
understand
the
what.
ending.
Right, but I'm understanding what you say there too. I think my view on the Ghostbusters one is it is subtle. There are some moments, but the film was good. Like it
Right.
was a fun little film. It didn't shove it down your throat, but you do have to be aware that it is still happening, even in properties we think it's not happening in. And we have to speak out about that. So I'm glad George brought that up, because I didn't even really think about it until you said 4 or 5. There's definitely 4 that I could think of right off the top of my head. But I can't lie where I said the last 10 minutes I choked up.
Yeah. Of course, that 10 minutes. See, to me, if you could pay just to watch the opening and the last 10 minutes, to me, it'd be a perfect film.
Yeah.
It was. But see, that's what got me okay, without spoiling it, the last 10 minutes before that scene starts, or right as it starts, within the first minute, that to me was the most pronounced moment when the trailer girl, who we all have seen, does something that stuck, and then they flipped it 30 seconds later, and I'm like, okay, that saved it, but it was pretty, and that was phenomenal.
I'm with you with that.
I can't wait to watch it and see what the hell.
Yeah, we got to talk it. Well, we'll talk about it tomorrow night on your
Sunday.
night. Sunday.
Definitely, George. You guys, Andre, if you're available, I know it'll be really late. Well, early for you, I think. It's at 9 Eastern. So if you guys want to join about the spoiler,
I would love to, but I can tell right away. Like that's like 9 Eastern. That's going to be like 2-3 a.m. in the morning. So
you're sleepy.
Yeah. What do people say where you live, Andre? Have you heard anything in the papers?
I haven't really paid attention to it, but that would be because like the movie doesn't open here for like 2 weeks.
Oh wow!
I don't think that there's like any. I don't think there's like any early reviews or anything like that. So I wouldn't expect to hear anything. That's why I haven't seen it. It doesn't open for 2 weeks.
Well, Andre, I'll tell you this real quick. If my good friend online finds any very good copies of legally, hypothetically, and any other things I could throw in there, I'll send it your way, because 2 weeks is just too long not to listen to what's going on with this movie.
You win some and you lose some, like living out of the US. Like for instance, Dune, I got 6 weeks before you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Venom we got this weekend, which is why we're not getting Ghostbusters for another 2 weeks. Same distributor. But then again, Spider-Man we're getting a few days early.
Oh, really? Right. I really wish they'd go back to the how Marvel did it, where they did where it opened everywhere globally.
Yeah, at least it opened within a week, because typically it would open in the US on Friday with Thursday pre-screenings, but then it would open in Norway, for instance, on Wednesdays.
Did Endgame open everywhere worldwide? Wasn't that Endgame?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what
I don't know. I remember I saw it. Yeah.
Even then I saw a couple of days earlier.
I saw it in Mexico. I remember the weekend it got released. So I don't
So my question is this, before we call it quits, guys.
No, before you call it quits.
I'm going to show that.
Jared,
don't worry.
Yeah.
Look at
Disney.
Thank you. Look at that. Look at how beautiful he is. Rogue Disney. That is our beautiful Culture Casino, winning his silver medal, I believe, that year.
Oh my God.
It's pretty sad. I
do want to say there is one great thing about this. Well, 2 great things about this film, which is that the professional critics hate it. So That's one reason to kind of like it, and two, it puts a boot in the ass of the 2016 film where you forget it.
Oh,
Right.
what did Grace Randolph say about it? Has she said anything?
I don't know. I didn't.
She said it made her feel like men were looking at her.
Oh, okay.
What?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
So we're gonna
some random thing that doesn't matter whatsoever, but yeah.
Right, really random. Guys, check out Jane's video with Grace Randolph, the recent one. It is awesome. Also, here is the link, guys, to Mad, whatever the heck the name of his thing is, Mad Barber something. That is the link to the live stream they're doing right now. We are going to get going. I want to thank you, Andre, for taking the time to come on the channel.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And I really got to say, I thank you for always inviting me on your show. I know I can't make it a lot, but it's the thought that counts. And it means a lot to me, the support you give to us smaller channels. So thank you.
Absolutely.
I love
That's what we
Andre.
try to
Andre, you're awesome. I love you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise.
So-
I wish you could come more often on the morning show.
I know. I'm always asleep. But I always
I know.
listen to you guys. I'm always lurking.
Way to get in your sleep. And then probably
I'm
Tom's
like-
asleep,
I'm
though.
in bed like half
I
asleep.
think so, probably. He's probably going to wake up and they're like, oh, shit.
He's
Like,
done
I
that
must
to
have
me.
been
The
so,
my 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock ones. He's like, dude, I totally took a nap. So
But
he
that's my
always,
fault, though, because I keep him like working and like only today I sent him like a 6-page script. So
Yeah.
he probably took one look at it and he passed out. So
Oh my God. He's like, bye.
So before we go, I just want to remind everyone why I am better than Stephen Walton. So should I get to 2K subs first or Stephen Walton?
You.
Yeah. He already beat me. Do you know who he is?
No.
She was so
I'm here
honest
with
about
Tubbs,
it.
and we're trying Dead to find honest. out who should, well, wait a minute. Who should hit 2K first? Myself, Sporking this podcast, or Stephen Walton?
Who the fuck is Stephen Walton?
No one knows.
Subscribe to this guy.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm here with Ryan Cannell.
What the fuck? Say my name right, motherfucker. Ryan Kinnell.
Ryan Cannell. First person to 2K. I love myself or Stephen Walton?
Well, that's a tough question. It's two like very undesirable answers,
Right.
but I am on Sporking's channel, so I guess I have to say Sporking News Podcast.
Do you even know who Stephen Walton is?
I do because he made a video about how you were using me for clout the other day. So I actually watched that.
Oh, you did watch
Yeah, I
that
did watch
boring ass video. I'm here with
Nobody here
Jeremy
told me I had a
from
booger in my
Geeks
nose.
And gamers, and I have a question for you, sir.
it. Yeah, man. What's up?
Who should hit 2K subs first, myself or author Stephen Walton?
Who the hell's Stephen Walton?
See, Jeremy's a good actor because he knew it perfectly.
You know what though, Ryan didn't even know what we were doing.
You, just because I don't even know who the other person is.
He lying.
He loves it. I think he's being honest.
No, he's not. He
Yeah.
knows perfectly well.
He doesn't even know him.
Do better because your stuff is so bad. But
Yeah,
you know, but,
forget that part.
But in all seriousness, who is Stephen Walton?
Someone told me he loved Prey Trees or something like that he wrote, or Wrinkle in a Tree. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not. I can tell you one thing: Geek Gamers is not affiliated, but we do love Sporting News. Subscribe
Minor
to
leagues.
Sporting News. Get him to 2,000 subs. Love this dude.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, that is one of
I
my.
have to file that one for memory. You inspire me to do better because yours is so bad. Like,
It's one of my favorite lines. It's one of my favorite lines of all time. And right now we're at 1877, so we're getting close to that 2K mark. I had a rough year with subscribers, but in the last 28 days I've had over 240. So I really appreciate everybody that is
That's
new.
awesome.
Yeah, man. And a lot of people watch this that aren't subscribed, like 28%. So please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Nina. Nina's amazing. Jane's amazing. George is killing it. He doesn't need my help.
George!
George! And Andre has so many channels. I don't know if you can keep them all together, but I know that there's a great one with Paulie coming up on the Midnight's Edge Espanol channel. So guys, make sure you guys are subscribed to Midnight's Edge After Dark, Midnight's Edge Espanol, Midnight's Edge Sporking News Podcast, and all the other ones that are Midnight's Edge. And I also like to say thank you to my members, because without you guys, literally, my wife wouldn't see any proof why this is worth it.
Also, you guys can check me out on Monday nights on Midnight's Edge as well. So, yeah, Toxic Femme, baby. Woo!
Toxic Femme is killing it lately, too. You guys are amazing.
Awesome show.
Yeah, it really is. It's an awesome show. So please support. All those women have been on my channel before, so whatever. No big whoop.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Check us out tomorrow night. I hope Scott will be there.
I am going to try to make it. Andre, thanks again, man.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Peace, everybody. Thank you. Later.
Bye.
I look like I lost a little weight.
That's not sexy.
Not sexy at all. I need to update this one a little bit. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great night.
Little Binger.
Little Binger.